But what it basically says is that there's a formula called the value added model. Right now, I'm not our next guest. I don't want to throw her a curve, but I'm just bringing this up because it kind of dovetails with what she's going to talk about. The value added model is a way to grade teachers, and basically, it shows somebody somewhere how a student should perform. And if the student performs better than how they were expected to perform, then the teacher gets a good mark. If the student performs worse than they were expected to perform, then they blame the teacher.
Yeah.
And of course, and a 0 means that the student did exactly what was expected of the student. So I guess the teacher doesn't get a bonus or anything like that. Our teaching system is boggling my mind. I don't even understand some of the political parts of it. Margery Mayor, I hope I said her name right. I asked her before we went on the air, and I think I forgot it. She's on the phone. She's a pioneer in the development of research-based educational technology programs. She's the president of Scholastic Education. There's a name that goes back. She spearheaded the Scholastic Read 180 program, the gold standard in raising achievement for struggling readers. She was inducted into the Association of Educational Publishers Hall of Fame. She's the recipient of the Reader's Favorite Award in Fast Company Magazine's Fast 50 list of people doing extraordinary things. Hope I'm reading this right. And there's a new survey she's going to talk about called Primary Sources, America's Teachers on Teaching in an Era of Change. And maybe that's why it dovetails with the local Florida story that I mentioned. Margery Mayor. Margery. Good morning, Margery. Are you there, Margery? Oh, goodness. I slaughtered your name, Margery. Mayer, right?
You perfect.
Oh, man.
There we go.
Takes me a while sometimes. Well,
We're old.
Thank you, Margery. Where are you right now?
I am sitting in Soho in New York City.
All right. How is it up there?
It's cold. It's really cold. We are in a vortex. Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I'm a product of the New York State education, whatever you call it. That's where I went to school. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
You turned out well.
I don't know.
Yes, you did.
I don't know. I couldn't even pronounce your name. I don't know. So anyway, tell me about the survey a little bit.
Yeah, so this is a survey that Scholastic conducted with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it's the third time we've done this. And the goal is really to hear from our teachers. We have so much going on right now in education, a lot of change. Florida's not unique in looking at new legislation for teachers. And so we decided let's hear what teachers have to say about what's going on in American education.
Okay. And reading is an important part of everything, just my own opinion. So is that an important part of the survey?
We didn't ask about reading specifically, but we did ask about some of the challenges in the classroom, and reading came up. So one of the things that we heard from teachers is that there's a wide range of reading accomplishment or achievement in their classrooms. We heard from teachers that they have 4 or more levels of reading in a classroom, which means that teachers have a lot of work to do to personalize instruction to help kids at those levels. And of course, at Scholastic, we completely agree with you that everything begins with reading. And when students can't read well, it makes everything else almost unattainable.
Yeah, and I guess a skillful reader as a student would be a better student. Does that make sense?
Oh, no question. No question. And what you see is that reading becomes more important the further you go up in the grades. So what we see is when kids are having reading difficulties when they hit 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, they are having difficulties in all their subject areas because they really can't access them without reading, including math. So there's a high correlation between students are having reading difficulty and students having math difficulty.
Why is it that a child is that this is not noticed when the child advances from like the 2nd grade to the 3rd grade? Because don't they have because they do have parent-teacher conferences and things like that, and if a parent knows that their student is struggling, tutors are usually available.
Yeah, well, one of the things our survey said is that teachers want to involve parents in collaborating about what to do for their kids, and that it's super important to have parents hold their children to high standards, to partner with teachers on what the plan is for kids. You know, we also heard, and you know, this sounds really obvious, but the number one thing that teachers wanted from parents is that they wanted kids in school for a full school day and to have no absences.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Now, so do we have any good system in place that really can determine if a teacher is a good teacher or an excellent teacher? I've often wondered about that. Let's say you have 30 children in your class, and you have one kid who's getting 30s and zeros on tests, and you have another kid who gets 190 like every single time. How do you determine that it's the teacher's credit for the 100 or fault for the 0? How does that even happen?
You know what? This is outside my pay grade. The way you open this conversation, this is a very, very challenging question. Is how do we evaluate our teachers? And we asked teachers some questions about evaluation. 100% of teachers in Florida told us that they had been evaluated within the last year, and we heard that nationally. The majority of teachers are being evaluated annually, but there's still a lot that we have to learn about how to make those evaluations really work. We heard teachers said that they wanted more customized professional learning opportunities. They wanted more specific feedback, and just one other thing about teachers. Teachers told us that it's not just about academics either. The vast majority of teachers told us that they also think it's their job to teach kids social skills, how to persevere, really those other intangible things that we can't just measure on a test.
Well, good for those teachers. Yeah, I agree with them. Yeah,
and to be free thinkers, because children just can't be brought up where they have to fit into one niche or the other. They have to be a free thinker in order to choose for themselves.
I absolutely, totally agree. We want children who are independent, adventurous, curious, exploring different options, different paths to take, and it does begin in the home, but it's also the job of schools to make sure they're opening all those worlds up for kids.
Margery Mayer is our guest. I know we have to wrap it up real quickly, but there's a new survey, and I want to make sure that our listeners can find out more information about the survey. Can I squeeze in one last question? In the title of the subject, it says an era of change, and one of the big changes that we're all being exposed to is technological change. Yesterday, I went for jury duty, and half the people in the room waiting were looking at Kindles and that kind of a thing. So is that playing a role in schools? Does that actually, does the survey indicate that it's a useful tool for teaching as far as the technology goes?
You know, we didn't ask that specific question, but we did ask teachers some questions about technology. And one thing that we heard back from teachers is how much they're using technology. So 91% of teachers told us that they're going to the web to find lesson plans. They're also using the web to collaborate with other teachers and to get professional learning. Technology is going to change the way we teach and our way our children learn, and that's just great.
And the big debate, the Common Core, what did the teachers say about that? Did they like that?
Yeah, the majority of teachers, 75% of teachers supported the Common Core, but we also heard from teachers that they need help in making it happen. They need professional development, and they need materials that are going to really help them teach the Common Core, especially for kids for whom the Common Core is going to be a challenge.
All right. Margery, let's leave the listeners with some way of finding out more information. Is there a website that brings them to the survey itself?
Yep, it's very easy. Scholastic.com/primary sources. There's a summary of the report up there, and there's also, you can download the full report.
Okay, scholastic.com/primary sources. Well, stay warm in Soho.
Okay.
Margery, thank you for being on the air with us today and for helping us with this. It's a very important topic. Even though our children, Robin's children and my son, are both adults.
Yeah.
And in fact, Robin's son works in Manhattan. So
yes, he does.
Congratulations.
Wave out the window. He's somewhere out there today. Margery.
I always like to hear about adult children working. That's always good news.
Margery, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Okay, thank you.
Fun interview. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
This weather brought to you by George Mangan Insurance, putting their customers first since 1894. Call 352-732-3191. Your Ocala Auto Owners agent.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. Partly sunny today and warm this afternoon, high 76 to 80. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58 inland, 64 the coast. Tomorrow, some sun followed by clouds. Look for some rain and a thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening. The high tomorrow in the 70s. For Thursday, variable cloudiness and cooler with showers and highs only in the 60s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away?